Hey, so I've calmed down a bit now, but I was pretty pissed earlier. Long story short, I had an appointment with the endocrinologist tomorrow at 10 a.m. And to put everything into perspective, I have been waiting to see the endocrinologist since July. I've been seeing the therapist that I'm seeing now since May, and I've been in therapy thinking about testosterone vaguely seriously since August of 2010. So I've been doing a lot of waiting. And then yesterday I went to go see the endocrinologist, which took about 2.5 hours. Most of it was spent waiting. And then I went to 4 different pharmacies to find one that would fill out my prescription for tea, which was a pretty awkward, definitely not the most pleasant experience. And I finally got to Shoppers and they were like, we can fill your prescription either tomorrow or Friday. And so I called them about 3 times today, and I think that they got sick of me calling. But anyway, so I went into Shoppers and I picked up my prescription for testosterone, which is awesome. Look at that. I don't know. It's vaguely surreal, right? It's like man juice. Anyway, and then yesterday I spent about half an hour on hold with the Halifax walk-in clinic near my house because I don't have a family doctor, and never ended up getting through. And then today I called the Dalhousie Medical Clinic, and I told them that I need an intramuscular injection, and they were like, that's fine, come in and see the nurse today between 6 and 8. So I showed up at 10 to 6, and I was like, here's my health card, here's my Dal card, this is what I need, signed a form, and they were like, great, nurse will be with you in 10 minutes. And then I got in, and she was like, do you have your prescription? And I was like, yep, I have it right here. And then she took one look at it and refused to administer my shot, basically. She asked me why I was taking testosterone. I said, because I'm transitioning. And then she said that she could not administer the shot. And I asked her why. And she said that she couldn't administer it because she didn't have permission from a doctor. So I told her that the endocrinologist had written the prescription and that I have been seeing a psychotherapist and registered MD since May, who has also written a referral letter for me to take testosterone, and I told her that I could provide both of those. And then she said that she didn't know anything about me and that she wouldn't do it. And I said, it's my medication, and that she was legally required to administer it, and she said that she wasn't legally required to administer testosterone, and told me that I would have to come back and make an appointment with the doctor. Yeah. And the whole thing is sort of vaguely ironic because right before I went to the medical clinic, I was in a meeting with the coordinator for Pride Health and some other folks to do training with medical professionals regarding trans healthcare and specifically gender-neutral washrooms. So I'd already spent an hour talking about trans-related healthcare, and then I was denied, which I'm pretty sure it's illegal to deny, to refuse to administer medication. Anyway, so on my way out, I grabbed a bunch of needles. So I have this 1 milliliter syringe. I have 3 of these. And I've got a bunch of different size needles to go on the barrels. I've got 25 gauge, 8.5-inch needles. I've got 23 gauge, 1-inch needles. And I've got 26 gauge, 1/2-inch needles. So Yeah, which is interesting because apparently you need a prescription for needles in Nova Scotia, which I didn't know because I had been living out in BC before and I'd accessed needles, and you can just there you can walk into any shoppers and buy needles. Apparently in here you need a prescription and they only provide diabetic needles, which is fucked up for for so many populations. Like talk about like like no regard for harm reduction models. Anyway, so I like stole a bunch of needles and I'm trying to weigh out my options. And like as it stands right now, I could go back to the Dalhousie Clinic and see a doctor, who I'm pretty sure would also reject me. Or I could wait another day and make an appointment with another doctor, which there's also a likelihood of getting rejected from. Or I can administer the shot myself. Yeah. And like, I mean, I like from my perspective, you know, I would like I think that I like deserve health care, and I think that I like deserve to have someone administer this administer testosterone, and I think that I deserve to have someone show me how to do it. I think the reality of the situation is different, and I also feel confident in my ability to inject testosterone. I've never done intramuscular injections, but I do know how to do intravenous injections. It's something that I've done in the past and something that I'm competent in, and I'm like capable in my abilities to do this properly. And like, so like logically, that's where I'm at. And like emotionally, I feel like I don't trust the medical system, and I feel like I want to be able to have like the ability and the autonomy to make my own decisions regarding my body, right? So I don't feel like I need to be medicalized. Like I don't feel like a sick person, and I also don't feel like I need to give away like my power and autonomy to medical professionals. And it's funny because I think that like, you know, as like, you know, if you're like a trans person or like whatever, like genderqueer, non-binary, gender non-conforming person who is like, or like any person who is like seeking medical transition, healthcare becomes a huge factor in your life. But also like those populations affected by the healthcare have virtually no input in how it's provided. And I think that like in my personal experiences, the perspective of the medical community is this. They either, like this nurse that I went to see, like want to like avoid the responsibility and burden of like dealing with you, right? They're like, oh no, you just have to see a doctor, or you just have to like get this referral letter, or you just basically like go away, right? So there's that. Or if they do deal with you, they do it in this way where they're like scared of it. So what they want to do is like not provide healthcare, or like prevent as many people from accessing those services as possible. And which is not done for the benefit of the person accessing the services, but is done for like the emotional well-being of the medical professionals who are like scared of trans people for whatever reason, right? Like the only reason that I was denied like my like legal right to receive medical treatment was because it was testosterone, which has been legally prescribed to me by my doctor, right? And if we're going to view it in like medical terms, this is like medicine, right? And if this was anything else, like I would not be denied healthcare, right? And so like, you know, I just want to be like, fuck you, right? Like, fuck you. Like, I don't need you to have the power to like influence like, you know, my body. Like like show me how to like do it for me, or like show me how to do it. Like trust in my like ability to make my own decisions, and like my ability to perform injections. Anyway, I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. I mean, I probably, like, regardless of whatever happens, I'll probably go see a doctor in the next few days, and even if they don't do this injection, I'm gonna make an appointment with the doctor who will administer an injection and hopefully write me a prescription for needles. Yeah, and like I also want to say that, like, you know, lots of people do self-injections. And like this is my personal decision. It's probably not like, you know, choosing to self-inject, I admit, is probably not the best decision that I could make. But yeah, I will like take responsibility for that. Yeah, because and right now I'm just angry, you know, and like I respect that anger. I think that it's legit. Anyway,